The cast of the animated Avatar, The Last Airbender universe discussed how the show's resurgence on Netflix during the COVID-19 pandemic affected their understanding of the cartoon's legacy. Avatar, The Last Airbender is widely regarded as one of the greatest animated shows ever made. It's acclaimed for its accessible storytelling, handling of complex subject matter, world-building, and charming, relatable, and well-developed characters. Having first aired on Nickelodeon between 2005 and 2008, long before streaming became ubiquitous, an entire generation of kids grew up with Aang, Katara, Sokka, Toph, and Zuko, learning from their grief, pain, hope, and friendship. When the series was re-platformed by Netflix over 10 years later, it became a global sensation, especially during the lockdown days of the COVID-19 pandemic. In an interview with Screen Rant's Ash Crossan for Avatar, The Last Airbender at San Diego Comic-Con, ATL stars Dante Basco, D. Bradley Baker, and Avatar sequel The Legend of Korra star Janet Varney spoke about their experience of ATL's second surge on Netflix and how it affected their perception of the show's story and meaning. Dante Basco: "I think it was a Netflix hit because I think it had the original fanfare of what happened in the beauty of the show. But then, when COVID hit, and then it became #1 on Netflix, it did something that never happened before. Because we never had streaming before, never Netflix for it, never had a show that had been done 10 to 15 years ago becoming the #1 show in the world during this new era. And then, as soon as we went to the first Comic-Con after Netflix opened up, me and Hayden Christensen were the longest lines in New York Comic-Con. It was like, you're on the #1 show in the world. How did that happen?" So when that happened, it was one of those things that had never happened before where, because of Netflix, it just became a phenomenon again. D. Bradley Baker: "But it was at a moment that the world really felt like it was falling apart, and the world of Avatar is a world that makes sense, and there's humanity, and there's morality. There's overcoming adversity, redemption, finding your power. There are all these things that the world needs that seem to be dissolving around us right there when COVID hit. Happily, the platform of Netflix made that available, suddenly, with the celestial jukebox of entertainment that we have now, so that everybody could suddenly dive in, and it really gives this sustenance that people need, I think, to aspire to a world that they want to live in. It wasn't just that people fell in love with Aang's world, however. They also responded to the show's messaging. Avatar is all about the dangers of oppression, colonialism, and the importance of standing up for what's right, even when it feels like the world is against you. As an example of the show's impact, Basco shared a moving experience he had while at New York Comic-Con. Dante Basco: "To your point, what's crazy, that New York Comic-Con, we were there, and it didn't really appear to me what was going on. There was so much happening, and this kid, comes up at a signing, and he's like, 'I grew up with you on Nick, man. We all grew up.' And I was like, 'That's great.' He goes, 'No, you don't understand. You programmed our generation.' I said, 'What?' He goes, 'You programmed our generation.' I go, 'What does that mean?' He goes, 'Why do you think we're the generation that brought back protests, the #MeToo movement, Black Lives Matter? We're trying to get the world back in balance.' And the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I was like, I understand why Avatar is the #1 show in the world." Janet Varney: "Oh my gosh. It even goes back to, I felt like you were about to say the word hope, and I was thinking about the whole Appa's Lost Days scenario. We just read from Serpent's Pass, and in that moment, Appa is gone, and in the end of that episode, you see this baby get born, and Aang has become so cynical and is so worried that he's not going to find Appa. And then, this new baby is born, and they name the baby Hope, and it's like, that's what we all need in the pandemic. It's going to be okay. It can still be okay, you guys." As proven by the show's enduring popularity and ever-relevant messaging, Avatar: The Last Airbender elevated the concept of the children's cartoon. While it was still just as colorful, funny, and sometimes even silly as you'd expect a kids' show to be, Avatar never shied away from tackling difficult political topics and complex, even toxic, familial relationships. Aang carried the fate of an entire world on his shoulders. Nevertheless, he and his friends, including the once villainous Prince Zuko, persevered, bringing that all-important balance to the world and restoring peace, prosperity, and kindness. Hate isn't sustainable. That's an important lesson for everyone to learn, not just kids and teens. Avatar did all that in a concise, three-part story, and it was an incredible achievement. A few weeks ago, at an Avatar, The Last Airbender panel at Denver's Fan Expo, Uncle Iroh voice actor Greg Baldwin proclaimed that Avatar wouldn't have been made if it were now being pitched for the first time. Baldwin implied the show was too overtly political to be greenlit today, and in this age of book bans and increasing societal division, he probably had a point. The Last Airbender's core morality and storytelling will always be relevant, and it's encouraging that the show has remained so popular for so long. That simply reinforces the strength and importance of Avatar's legacy, however. The Last Airbender's core morality and storytelling will always be relevant, and it's encouraging that the show has remained so popular for so long, with Netflix's live-action remake and multiple new animated Atla productions in development. It looks like Avatar: The Last Airbender will remain culturally significant for years to come, and deservedly so.